Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's IICRC Certified Firm webinar. Today, we are welcoming Ruth Travis. She is here to talk about the ins and outs of growing your business during the slow winter months by incorporating rug cleaning. Today's presentation, Ruth's going to discuss 6 reasons why rug cleaning is different than carpet cleaning, rug identification, implant setup, proper use of chemicals, and then some different methods of cleaning. At the end of the program, we are going to hold a brief Q&A, so if you have any questions throughout the program, feel free to enter them into the question box on the right-hand side of your screen. And then during the end, if you do have any questions at the end, you can enter them at that time as well. And with that, here's Ruth.
Well, hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my background in case you don't know who I am. I've been around the industry for quite a while. I'm known as the Rug Lady. I started out in my business, back in the late 80s. I had a little rug cleaning company and a carpet cleaning and upholstery cleaning, basically high-end residential. Eventually, I worked my way into becoming a board member for IICRC and worked my way up to be president from 2006 to 2008. So I'm basically very entrenched with IICRC and totally believe in it. Over the years, I've taken numerous courses, became a master rug cleaner, then a certified rug specialist, and I belong to the Association of Rug Cleaning Specialists and also the SCRT, so I'm kind of still involved with the industry quite a bit. So anyway, I've been around a while. And I may lecture you a little bit about certain things, but just don't take it personally. Anyway, just wanted to talk to you a little bit today about one of my favorite subjects, which is cleaning rugs. I've become a collector of rugs over the years as well, so I really love rugs and consider it art underfoot. A lot of your clients feel the same way I do, so you have to kind of get into your artsy mode when you're talking about rugs with your clients. So anyway, let's start here this minute. So are you cleaning rugs yet? If not, why not? Because rugs are so popular nowadays. And I know everybody's afraid to do them. Once you get some education and some training, you'll get used to cleaning rugs and become a lot better at it. If you're cleaning, are you cleaning with a truck mount or a portable? In your home, in somebody's home or office, or in your garage, starting out slow, or in an actual rug cleaning plant facility, which is what I highly recommend that you strive for at some point in your business. If you're not cleaning rugs, I believe that you're losing out on a huge potential to grow your business, and that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So what's holding you back? IICRC's in 2004, we decided we were going to offer a rug cleaning course. And we had to come up with some criteria for why we had the course to begin with. During that operation, or that time that we were together, we decided that the preferred system for cleaning rugs is to remove them from the home or business and clean them in a controlled in-plant environment. There's lots of reasons for that. You can have a lot of different methods of cleaning, but cleaning should be performed by a technician who has some specific training. Because rug cleaning is definitely different than carpet cleaning or upholstery cleaning. And selecting the proper cleaning method is very important once you know what kind of rug that you're trying to clean. So why is rug cleaning different than carpet cleaning? Well, number one, the fibers are very different. You have a lot more natural fibers versus synthetic fibers, and those natural fibers require specialized cleaning techniques and chemicals. The most common fibers, 2 most common fibers found in rugs are natural fibers. Number one is going to be your protein fiber, which comes from an animal or insect, and wool, sometimes camel, sometimes alpaca, but wool is the number one face fiber that we're going to find in most area rugs, specifically Oriental rugs. The second, obviously wool comes from sheep. There's lots of different types of sheep out there. And, the sheep are grown specifically to make fibers, to make either rugs or carpet or garments, depending on what's going on. The second type of protein fiber is going to be silk. And most of the time, you're going to find silk rugs are more specialty type rugs, more high end, much more delicate and much more expensive rugs for sure. You can have silk in the foundation. You can have silk as a face fiber in silk rugs. The second most common type of natural fiber found in the rug is going to be your cellulosic or bast fibers. Cotton is the most common foundation yarn found in most rugs, both handmade and machine made. And then, of course, we have jute, which is one of our favorites. I'm sure everybody's had to deal with jute at some point in your cleaning business. Jute is also found in foundation of some machine woven rugs. Even though you don't see it, it's in there. And so every once in a while, you may run into a rug that all of a sudden you have problems with from cellulosic browning. I guarantee you there's going to be some jute in that foundation. Now, if you don't know what a foundation is, we're going to have to get you to a class pretty soon. All right, so another reason that carpet cleaning and rug cleaning are different, of course, it's going to be the backing system or construction and the dyeing processes. Most of the backings in a rug, whether it's machine woven or handmade, are going to be, again, woven, talking about woven as opposed to tufted like we have with carpet. You do have some hand tufted rugs that are out there. You've probably run into those if you're cleaning rugs. There's the ones with the cotton scrim or backing on them, and they can be a real challenge. The problem with the backing systems on rugs or the foundation is you can have shrinkage, you can have rippling, you can, as far as dye problems, you can have bleeding. And believe it or not, where the rug is made, how it was made, and who it made it can affect the outcome of your cleaning. So rug ID becomes a little bit more important than what we always thought it was. All right, here we have some bleeding on the bottom of this rug where it leads into the fringe. That's the warp. The fringe is the extension of the warp yarns. You can have bleeding throughout a rug depending on the dye. And remember, red is going to be the color that always bleeds first. So if you have any red in the rug, I would highly recommend that you do some dye bleed testing on it. All right, here's some tea wash coming off in our wash pit. Tea wash is an application of a brown or golden brown dye to the surface of the rug to chemically or physically age it. A lot of rugs that are coming out of India and Pakistan have been tea washed. And if you start washing a rug and all of a sudden you see this brown stuff coming off and it's not soil, then you might suspect that it's been tea washed. Now, can we fix that? Yes. But knowing that it's there, knowing that it's a potential problem is better than learning about it after you started cleaning the rug. So again, rug ID can be very important. Here's rippling. This is an Afghan rug. These rugs are notorious for rippling. And all it takes is a tiny little bit of moisture to make these things ripple like this. And unfortunately, blocking cannot correct this in a lot of cases. So again, rug ID, knowing where the rug comes from, really makes a huge difference. All right, whether rugs are hand woven or hand knotted or machine made, machine woven or machine tufted, rugs are here to stay. And you guys might as well get used to it. You're going to be seeing more and more rugs. The longer you stay in business, the more opportunity there is for cleaning rugs and making money. And nowadays, if you're like anybody else in the cleaning industry, you're walking over rugs to get to that 1 or 2 rooms of carpet in the back of the house. So don't be afraid of them. You just have to face the facts. You're going to have to get some education and start learning more about cleaning rugs. They're not that difficult to clean as long as you know what you're doing. All right, here, these are all machine woven rugs. Kerastan is a really famous machine woven rug here in North America. It comes out of Eden, North Carolina. Very high end, nice rugs, easy to clean as long as there's not urine in them. That's another story, right? All right, so basic rug ID. If you start learning about rugs, the first thing you have to do is you have to flip that rug over and look at the back corner. That's going to tell you how the rug was constructed. And most people that have been around the industry for any length of time ID rugs from the back side. And that's the way to do it. So we're going to learn whether it's a hand woven, whether it's a hand knotted or flat leaf, machine woven, Wilton or Axminster, hand tufted, machine tufted, and then some other types, hand stitched, I call them, skins or hides, and then some of the oddball things like your bass fibers, sisal cord, jute, seagrass, linen. Of course, I'm sure if you've been around any length of time, you've been dealing with viscose as well, which is a whole, it's a nightmare sometimes, but we have to deal with it. So you have to learn rug ID a little bit. So basically, if I wanted to determine the difference between a handmade rug or a machine woven rug, I'm going to look at the back corner. So on one side, we have a machine woven. On the other side, on the right side, you have a hand knotted. The machine woven, the warp yarns, the lengthwise yarns are going to be more visible. On a hand knotted rug, the weft yarns are more visible. And I hope that you can see, looking at the pictures on your computer, what I'm talking about. Sometimes they're not as obvious, so you have to kind of get used to what you're looking at. But typically, unless a machine-made rug was woven sideways, you're going to see the warp yarn much more easily than the weft. The edges on a machine woven rug are going to be serged by a machine or overcast by a machine, so you can see a little sewing machine stitch on the edge. Perfect too, by the way. On a hand knotted rug, it's going to be done by hand. Obviously, overcasting is done by somebody that did it, with a needle. So it's not so perfect. I think that's one of the things we're looking for. The other thing is the fringe. On a hand knotted rug, it's an extension of the warp yarns. It's part of the rug. On a machine made rug, it's going to be sewn or stitched on. And you can see the difference as you're looking at the back of these two rugs. So those are three things to look for. One more thing is going to be the pattern is not as distinct on the back of a machine woven rug. A lot of times there's latex back coating that they put on the back to anchor the yarns in place, to give it more dimensional stability. On a hand knotted rug, you see the exact opposite side of the pile. So you're seeing the back of the knot, if you want to call it that. So there's four things to look for. Obviously it takes some skill to do this, but if you start training yourself and start forcing yourself, I guess is the better way to say it, to start checking these things, see if you can tell the difference. All right, so hand knotted rugs, the general category we're going to give them is going to be called an oriental rug. I'm going to call that any hand knotted rug with pile. All right, and oriental rugs may be classified by the country of origin where they came. Got Persian or from Iran, India, China, Pakistan, Tibet, Nepal, Afghanistan, Romania. Oh gosh, you name it. There's so many different countries that can make rugs, but the majority of them are going to come from this list. Now, there are differences. When you start looking at rugs and learning to do rug ID, you'll be able to start telling the difference. But it just takes a little time to get used to. Again, it's one of those things that, you take baby steps, a little at a time. So here's a Persian rug. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about a different way of categorizing. But, once you see a Persian rug, there are many patterns that are typical Persian patterns. And you'll see them over and over again. The colors may change, but the pattern itself is going to be very, very similar. All right, here's another Persian rug. Here's another one. This is called a pictorial. This is actually a rug. If you look at the bottom of that picture, you'll see the fringe. It's so lifelike, it's unbelievable. But that's an actual Persian rug from Iran. All right, and here's, I was talking to Jennifer early in the presentation. I went to visit a rug cleaning plant, and this fella had a friend who had this was his home, supposedly, but he had stacks and stacks of rugs piled up everywhere. It was amazing, just absolutely amazing. All right, here's a rug from India, China. This is from Pakistan, and here's one from Romania. Now, if you look at the back, there's certain characteristics that you see between, there's a blue weft in there, real square knots. It's a typical of a Romanian rug, and they don't look like anything else. So another way of classifying rugs may be from the city, town, or region where they were made. Now, this is typically going to be more Persian rugs. All right, so here's, I was telling you a little bit earlier, one is called the Bakhtiari. It's a Persian village rug. The darker one is a Persian tribal rug. City rugs are made in factories in cities, the larger cities in Iran, for resale, typically to sell at a market or something like that to consumers. They're curvilinear design. They have a uniform appearance, sometimes have silk accents, usually a higher knot count. Now that's the number of knots per square inch in the rug. Single side cord, or one side cord, multi-wefted, usually cotton or silk. Different end finishes are common, and they're copied by other countries. Most Persian city rugs are going to be chemically washed, which is something that you need to become familiar with. Chemical wash is an application of a strong chemical to chemically, if you want to call it damage, but soften the wool. I guess that's a better way of putting it. Some of the Persian city rug names, and these are named again for the cities where they were made: Qum, Isfahan, Tabriz, Saruk, Nain, Kerman, Kashan. Those are all names of cities in Iran that originally the rugs were made. All right, here's several different ones. That's that Kashan. Look at, it's very curvilinear in design, very intricate, floral. If you actually could see the whole rug, it's very square. The ends are, it's very, very well finished, to say the least, because it's for resale. So it's for sale to the Western market. That's, they're trying to attract us or the European market. Here's a Mahi Tabriz. This is a very typical Persian city rug. Very intricate design again, very square, perfect rug. This a lot of times has some silk accent in it as well. This is one of those that you better be careful of. Do your dye bleed test, because they do tend to bleed quite easily. Look at the dark colors, the dark contrast colors. All right, Persian village rugs are made in homes typically for resale, but it's like a cottage industry. A lot of times they're misshapen. They're typically rectilinear design as opposed to the floral designs or the curvilinear design. Usually a medium knot count, so not as intricate, not as dense. Each rug is going to be individual or unique because it's made one at a time. It's not made at a factory for resale. It's made by individuals. Some of them have multiple side cords. It's rare to find silk in these rugs, and it usually, I said medium knot count, but it usually has a larger knot count, so not as dense of a rug. Some names of these rugs are Hamadan and other single wefted like Haraja, Lilahan, Bakhtiari, Hariz, and Bijar. Again, names of villages or names of cities, I guess, but typically villages in Iran. Or the Bijar, you've probably seen this pattern before. It's pretty typical. Here's another Bijar. If you've noticed, there's a similarity in these two rugs, believe it or not. These are usually smaller format as well because they're made in people's homes. All right, and then our third category is going to be, well, here's another Bijar. This is a Bakhtiari called a garden panel. All right, if you see the little squares in there, that's the garden panel design. That's quite common as well. All right, our third category would be tribal or nomadic rugs. These are typically made in temporary housing or tents by the nomads. The people that travel with their sheep throughout the country. All right, they're rectilinear designs, very typically smaller format because they're carrying the rugs with them as they migrate. Symmetrical knot, which we don't have time to talk about knots here, but eventually at some point you'll understand the difference between symmetrical and asymmetrical knots. The low knot count, usually limited number of colors because they don't have access to a lot of the vibrant dye colors when they live out in the middle of the desert. These may not be color fast. So you have, again, if you can recognize them as a tribal rug, which, at some point you're going to be able to identify them, you definitely want to do a color fastness test because these tend to bleed. Think about where these people live. They don't have access to a lot of water to rinse out the excess dye when they do the dyeing of the wool or dyeing of the yarn. So just think about where they live. I think that's important to understand. Bags or other utilitarian items are very common, like a camel trapping or a saddle bag, something like that is something you're going to see. They usually have multiple side cords. Some may have goat or camel hair. Barber pole overcasting or multicolored blocks of color is very typical of these tribal rugs. And they may have wool in the foundation, so wool warps and wool wefts. Again, think about it. They don't have access to cotton, so they're going to use what they have when, out in the desert. They have wool. That's what they're raising, is sheep, so they have access to a lot of wool. All right, so names of these would be Shiraz, Baluch, Afshar, and Turkoman. They're different tribes, Persian tribal people. Okay. All right. Here's some tribal rugs. This is the Turkoman, again a tribe, a Persian tribe. There's another Turkoman rug. You notice how dark these colors are? They're typically going to be darker browns, dark reds, maybe dark grays or blacks, but they're not going to be those vibrant colors that you see in the other types of rugs. All right, rugs may also be classified by type. So let's talk about flat weave. Now, flat weaves are still hand-woven rugs, but they're made without pile. So a Duri rug, which I'm sure you've run into if you're planning any kind of rugs, it comes from India. Usually very scratchy wool, large overcastings, bulky, stiff overcastings, one of the things that you're going to look for. Very plain weave. A lot of them have off-white background and a pretty basic pattern. I mean, they're not real intricate rugs. Kaleems can be from other countries in the Mideast, Turkey. They can be Persian. They can be Afghanistan. So different type of flat weave. The real difference is called the discontinuous ground weft. So when you hold the rug up and look at it through the light, you'll be able to see the slits between the colors. So that distinguishes it from the Duri rug. It's got the slits. So that's called a kaleem. A sumac is a totally different stitch. This stitch actually weft yarns in circle groups of warp yarns. So it almost looks like a needlepoint rug on the front side, but a cross-stitch rug on the back side, which is interesting. So, it's a little bit bulkier than your Duri or your kaleem, but definitely a flat weave because it doesn't have any pile to it. And it could be made in several different countries as well. I've got one from Turkey. I've got one from, I think I've got a Persian rug. I've got a Turkish rug. I've got a Chinese sumac. So, lots of different countries make sumac. And then another one, of course, would be your American Indian Navajo rug, another flat weave. If you live anywhere where you have, I don't know, the West, you're going to run into the Navajo rugs at some point. You should be able to identify these that are different from other types of flat woven rugs. If you have any question, just stop what you're doing and get to an expert to help you determine if it's actually a true Navajo. Now, there are a lot of Navajo knockoffs. A lot of the rugs that are coming out of Mexico or even New Mexico look like Navajo rugs, but they're actually not. So, if you want to learn a little bit more about Navajo rugs, there are a lot of people in our industry who are experts. Be careful because these do tend to bleed very easily. Kind of like the Persian tribal rugs. Where they're woven, they just don't have access to a lot of water to rinse out the excess dye. So that may be one of the reasons that they tend to bleed much more easily than the other rugs. Beautiful rugs, very collector rugs, by the way. A lot of people collect these rugs. All right, then another category, another construction type, or another classification would be by construction. So we've got hand knotted with pile, which we're going to call an oriental. Hand knotted without pile, we'll call it a flat weave. Now we'll jump into our machine woven rugs. One of the categories would be spool Axminster. made by the company I mentioned earlier, Kerastan. Spool Axminsters are beautiful machine woven rugs. If you look at this, you'll see that the fringe is stitched on or sewn on, so that's one of the indications. And look at the back. The warp is more visible from the back side, and I think that's what we're looking for. It's one of those things eventually you're going to get used to identifying them by the back side, and you'll be able to say, oh yeah, that's a machine woven rug. And spool axminsters tend to have lots and lots of colors in them as well. Another type of machine woven is a Wilton. That's basic, second basic category. Wiltons don't have as many colors. They're not as intricate in design, but again, you can see from the back side, you can see the warp yarns a lot more easily than you could the weft yarn. So that's how we're going to tell what it is. Or here's another Wilton. The Wiltons, these inexpensive olefin rugs that you're running into, or that hopefully you're going to run into eventually if you start cleaning rugs, have some ease of cleaning because they're made with synthetic yarns. But remember, the backing system is still going to be natural fibers, cotton and jute. So that's what we've got to be careful. That's why when we're cleaning rugs, we always want to stay with cleaning solutions that are for natural fibers. All right. Jump to another type of rug, construction type, is called hand tufted. These are the rugs that you see that have this fabric back on them. They usually have a border that's turned over and stitched. These tend to come out of either India or China. Excuse me. They can have, the latex can start to degrade over time. If you are capable and feel capable of it, you can actually restore these rugs and reback them for your client. At some point, you might want to start offering that as a service. All right, some more types of rugs. This is a braid rug. You've probably seen these around before. They're pretty easy to clean. The only consideration is sometimes these braids, the stitches will come apart and you'll end up with these cords that need to be restitched. But that's a repair opportunity for you to offer to your client. Crewel or chain stitch. You've probably at some point cleaned a crewel or chain stitch upholstery. When you're cleaning these rugs, you're basically cleaning fabric. So a lot of surface cleaning is going to be involved with this. Using a hand tool with your portable or your truck mount, just like you would clean an upholstery piece of upholstery. There's more chain stitch. Needlepoint rugs are basically is stitched on a linen foundation. So again, cellulosic browning can be an issue with these. This is one is a Chinese needlepoint. The other is a Portuguese needlepoint. So you have to be able to tell the difference. It's just a slightly different stitch. Rag rugs are made out of strips of cloth, just stitched together. And sometimes they can be sort of a pain in the neck to clean. Many of these rugs, if they're sturdy enough, can be put in a commercial laundry or washed. So you don't have to submerge and clean or clean all rugs the same way. And I think that's one of the things when you get familiar with cleaning rugs, you're going to say, oh wow, there's so many different methods of cleaning that we can offer. So this one's just got the rag stitched into the face of the rug. A flocati is a hand stitched rug, just pieces of white undyed wool that are stitched into a backing. Most of the true flocati comes out of Greece. Totally undyed wool fiber. Sometimes these will yellow on you as they age over time, and you can, pretty easy to clean these rugs. One of the things that I recommend that you do before you start cleaning is measure them, because they tend to shrink on you. Think about if something's been on the floor for any length of time, it'll actually stretch out. So you've got to be careful that you don't want to send a rug back that's about 2 inches or 3 inches shorter than it was to begin with. And they're easy to stretch back out. So take a measurement first before you start cleaning, so you deliver it back in the same size it was when you brought it in. Skins and hides and leather, pretty easy to clean. Be careful the condition of some of these skins, because sometimes they're They're so brittle that they'll literally fall apart. Some can be washed, some can need to be hand cleaned, just depending on, you know, how stable that skin is. I ended up cleaning this giraffe skin many years ago when I first started in the business, and I had to hand clean the whole thing. It was quite a challenge. It took me several weeks to do it, but we finally got it finished. Zebra skin, you've seen plenty of these around, I'm sure. So, you know, just clean it like you would clean a nice piece of upholstery. I did a lot of hand cleaning on this skin. Machine tufted rugs are literally just carpet that's been print dyed with the design of a rug. They print it depending on the size of the rug that they want. They cut them into the size that's 4 by 6, 6 by 9, 8 by 10, whatever size that they're going to be using. And then they serge the edges and they sew on some fringe, and they call it a rug. Well, it's actually a piece of carpet, so it should be easy to clean. Print dye can only be done on nylon or wool fiber. You do have print dyed cotton rugs. Those are more like little bathroom rugs, things like that. Typically, you're not going to be cleaning those in your plant. Those can be cleaned, you know, at a commercial laundry. Now, rug ID can be very confusing. It was always confusing for me. I've spent years and years and years learning rug ID, and I finally got to the point in my life I took the Certified Rug Specialist course about 3 years ago. And in the course, we had to identify 60 different types of rugs. So in that course, I kind of created some little cheater cards, if you want to call them that, where I'd write down characteristics of each type of rug, and then I take pictures. So I came back out of the class. I did pass, thank goodness. And I created a series of Rug ID flashcards, which I do have available for sale. But so if it's something that you're interested in, I think it's been very helpful to a lot of people in our industry. The one thing that makes it different than a lot of the books that are out on the market is the fact that I show the backs of the rugs. So it's available for you if you're interested in it. You can look on my website and find out more information about it. All right, so another reason why rug cleaning is different from carpet cleaning, the techniques are different. You know, we're not just using a truck mount or a portable and extracting from the surface. We can do lots of different methods of cleaning. I have a method I call damp dusting or damp wiping, dry solvent cleaning in actually a dry clean plant, absorbent compound, absorbent pad, dry foam shampoo or encapsulation, cold or hot water extraction, commercial laundry, I mentioned earlier, in-plant automated machines like Moore machines, where you have mechanical dusters and tumble dusters and things like that. Submersion cleaning process, which is where you actually put the rug underwater. There's lots of different ways of doing that. Pressure washing, where you use a pressure washer for cleaning, which is, as long as the rug is very stable, is a great way to clean rugs. Rugs are, especially, you know, the higher knot count rugs are very dense. That soil gets embedded in those fibers and be very difficult to clean out. So using pressure washing can be very helpful in cleaning the rug. And then, of course, combination methods where you use a rotary shampoo or in combination with submersion, in combination with pressure washing. I mean, there's always a way to clean a rug. It's just which is the best for the rug itself and the conditions of the rug. Now, what I want to remind you all, you cannot urine decontaminate a rug in somebody's home. This is the only way you can do it. You've got to get it underwater. And I don't know about you, but 85 to 90% of the rugs that came into our plant had urine in. So we got really good at urine decontamination, but you've got to bring them into your shop to be able to do it. You know, urine is not very easy to get out of a rug, especially, a rug that's been contaminated multiple times. Let's just put it that way. Because typically animals don't go on a rug once. They go back over and over again until they get caught. So anyway, take the rug out, set up some sort of a little rug pit, washing pit in your facility so that you can soak it in the urine decontamination product and get it clean. It may take multiple cleanings to get the urine out, but you can do it. You can be successful at urine decontamination if you do it right. All right, here's another one. This is a synthetic rug that was full of urine, obviously. That's not soil that you're looking at, I promise you. All right, another reason why rug cleaning is different than carpet cleaning is because rugs cost so much more than carpet and cannot be easily replaced. Hand-knotted rugs are one of a kind. You can't replace them. Now, there are rugs, fairly new rugs, machine woven rugs that, they make multiples of. So, if something happens, you can always replace it. But a beautiful hand-knotted rug, Persian hand-knotted rug, cannot be replaced. So this is why you've really got to know what you're doing. You don't want to take chances with your clients' beautiful rugs. They are attached to them, especially if they've been handed down from one generation to the next. So you have to be careful. If you don't feel comfortable cleaning rugs, don't do it. Find somebody in your area to subcontract to until you feel comfortable with cleaning. I can't emphasize that enough. And the other thing is, again, rugs are more expensive than typical carpet would be. So, you take a 9 by 12 or an 8 by 12 Persian mahal. This is a Persian city rug. It can range anywhere from $8,000 to $3,000 because of the size, because of the age, because of the intricacy of that rug. And that's a one of a kind. You're not going to replace that rug, especially if if it's an older rug. You definitely will not be able to replace it. Here's another one. This is an antique Chinese rug. It's an Art Deco period, and these are what typically come from the 1920s. A lot of people, actually, this is a Peking Chinese, I'm sorry, but thousands of dollars for these rugs, and depending on the condition of the rug is going to determine how much value they have to them. Now, here's a new rug. This is probably a Tibetan rug. It's got viscose and wool combination, but these things are selling for $5,000. Our clients are crazy. They're spending money on stuff. I don't know. I don't understand it, but they do. So anyway, you've got to be careful with these things. The fact that it's got viscose in it, it's going to be a challenge for you. So if you don't feel comfortable with it, don't do it. All right, until you get some education. All right, another reason, let's see, your potential liability, again, talking about the replacement value of these rugs is so much higher than cleaning carpet. Be sure that you have liability, insurance as well as general insurance. You definitely want to be sure that you have Bailey insurance. Talk to your insurance agent. Bailey insurance covers care, custody, and control of the rug when it's in your possession. And remember, the value of the rug may be subjective, not actual. You may think that the rug's not worth anything, but to the client, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Now, how do you defend yourself? And if you get sued, the chances are you're not going to win. You're the professional. And when people go to court, which you hope that'll never happen to you, typically the cleaner is going to lose, especially if they're passing themselves off as a professional. When you get a rug into your shop, be careful to tag it properly, do a proper pre-inspection and photo documentation. One thing you don't want to do is lose somebody's rug, all right? So we have a condition report that we filled out for every rug that came into our shop. At the bottom here, you'll notice that it's not a liability waiver, it's actually just a claim, a proclamation that we can't be responsible for some of the inherent characteristics of a handmade rug. But again, you're the professional. You should know how to deal with the rug if you're going to call yourself a professional cleaner. All right, so proper documentation, photo documentation, take lots of pictures. Make sure that you measure the rug properly when it comes into your shop, and you take pictures of everything that might be an issue with that rug before you can start cleaning it. If you have any problems that you run into during your pre-inspection, call the client immediately and tell them what you found so that they don't blame you for causing a problem. All right, so one last but not least, your potential income is so much higher when you clean rugs. Your basic price could be range from anywhere from $2 to $5, $2 to $6 a square foot. Add on fabric protection, pad, insect repellent, a lot of different add-ons that you can do with rug cleaning. You can be up $7, $8 a square foot for one rug. So don't discount it. That's why we're here. We're talking about how you're going to grow your business. This is the easiest way to grow your business. Why would you be out cleaning a room full of carpet for $50 a room when you can clean a rug for $250 and never leave your shop? I mean, that's just crazy. All right, so here's some advantages of cleaning in a plant. Bringing those rugs into your shop. Lower cost to operate. Cleaning at slow times, like right now, especially if you live up north where it's freezing cold outside and half the time you can't go out because your truck mount will freeze, or the client cancels due to weather issues, you could still be cleaning rugs in your shop. It's a cash and carry business. We would offer a discount for clients who brought rugs to us to our plant. You know, they pay for the rug when they pick it up, so we have something they can't just, they're always going to come back and get their rug, so you will get paid. You're going to get much better cleaning results if you're cleaning in a plant because you can clean multiple times if you need to. You clean and dry it and check for any problems. You can re-clean the fringe if it needs it. You can re-decontaminate a rug if you didn't feel like you got completely get the urine out of it. So you can get lots better results. Now you're going to charge more for it, obviously. Probably the time that you spend isn't that much more because you've got the rug right there in front of you, which is nice. You have control over the cleaning process. You can soak a rug a little bit longer if it needs it. You can extract it a little bit more if you need to. I mean, there's lots of different reasons, lots of different ways to control the process as opposed to cleaning on location, where you don't have any control of what happens. You can't properly dust a rug. You can't clean the fringe. You can't clean the back of a rug if you're cleaning in somebody's home. So try to get beyond that. If you're doing that, if you're cleaning in people's homes, let's try to figure out a way to get out of that. You have a one-time equipment investment in most of your rug cleaning equipment, and a lot of you already have some of the equipment that you're going to need. Air movers, might have a portable machine. You have a truck mount typically. You have wands, you have extractors. I mean, you have lots of equipment already that you're going to need for your plant. The actual basic equipment is not that expensive. And, at some point we could talk about what you'll need, but, I don't think we have as much time here. That's why we want to get you to a class as soon as you can. All right, the other nice thing about cleaning is that the cleaning rugs exposes you to the high-end clientele. Interior designers, rug retailers, and antique stores. Those are the people that either sell or buy rugs. So the better you are at cleaning rugs, the more you will be exposed to these high-end clientele. And then, of course, you have your add-on sales: protector, pad, moth deterrent, urine decontamination repairs, even floor cleaning. If you take a rug out and the floor is soiled underneath, hey, why not offer the cleaning, to clean that tile or grout or wood floor if that's something that you feel like you can offer. So what you'll need to set up a plant, I'd say approximately 1,000 square feet. You could get away with less, but I think you'll find that if you're getting ready to, look at rental property or invest in a building, start out with at least 1,000 square feet. I think that would give you the minimum. All right, you're going to need some equipment and chemicals, but like I said, a lot of times you already have some of the equipment that you need, and the chemicals I'm going to recommend, are available to almost everybody. Certainly knowledge and training, and I'm going to say something right here that might upset you all, but I don't think you're going to learn anything or everything you need to know about rug cleaning on Facebook. I'm sorry. You need to get your own education. You need to get out there and learn from the best, okay? All right, then you need a system of processing, actually overseeing your whole entire business, and of course a marketing program. That's one of the things that, marketing is one of the things I think a lot of us cleaners probably aren't the best at, but it's the only thing that keeps your business going. If you don't know how to market your service, you're going to go out of business very quickly. All right, so here's a plant that I helped set up here in Nashville. This is John Browning's place, ProCare. This is his first building he was in. And you'll notice we have a rug soak area in the front. We have a rug pit, which is the very bottom of the picture. We have an extraction area where that big rug is on, and then a drying platform, and then the hanging racks in back. Now, if we consolidated that, you're probably talking maybe 1,000 square feet total. You notice he has a drag wand. He's got a water claw. He's got the air movers. He's got a CRB machine. Those are all things that he purchased. There's a little spotting machine in there. He did have a portable extractor that he used in the business, and he also used a truck mount as well. So basic stuff. This is not the really expensive equipment that's available. And one thing about buying equipment, I would recommend that you grow your business before you invest in a lot of very expensive equipment. You need to have cash flow to make your business work. That's normally how a business works. And so spending a lot of money on equipment before you can afford it, it probably isn't the wisest thing to do. All right, here's this drying platform. This is basically 2x6s and 4x6 pieces of plywood. We drilled some holes and made some areas for the air movers, and we could float these rugs on there to help dry them. You could also stretch rugs on this platform, which is a nice thing to do. Here's more equipment. Of course, you have to have rubber boots. You're going to be walking around in dirty water, so you better have some boots to wear. All right, so as far as cleaning products or cleaning solutions, I'm going to recommend that you look for WoolSafe approved products. Now, I didn't mention to you that I'm the director of the WoolSafe organization here in North America. I work with the headquarters that's out of Ilkley in the UK, and it's an organization that was originally designed or originally created to test cleaning products specifically for use on wool and natural fibers. So WoolSafe approval, when they do the testing of the products, obviously it has to remove soil and spots. That's one of the first tests that's done. Cannot have oxidizers, reducers, or optical brighteners. Non-buffered, which means that the pH can move. That's kind of it's called a titration test that's done. But buffered products typically stay at a certain pH because of the buffering product that's put into the cleaning chemical. You don't want your WoolSafe products to be buffered because you want to be able to use an acid rinse to lower the pH. And as far as wool itself doesn't mind alkalinity. It's the dyes, the acid dyes that are have a problem with high alkaline products. So when we're typically using cleaning products on wool, we're worried about the dyes, the acid dyes that are used to dye the wool as opposed to the wool fiber itself. I'm trying to make this pretty simple, and it's not a simple thing. Anyway, low alkalinity. So typically your pH on WoolSafe products is going to be in the neutral range or on the acid side. There are a few products that are slightly higher, but they can be reduced or buffered down to an acid side. It should have no effect on the color fastness, so no bleaching agents, or doesn't pull the color out, obviously, and does not promote resoiling or color migration. If you want more information about a listing of all the cleaning products that are WoolSafe approved, you can look on the WoolSafe website under cleaning products or find a cleaning product. There are professional and consumer products are available. There's probably 400 products now that are WoolSafe approved. In North America, we have close to 260, 300 products that are available. We have fabric protectors, urine decontamination products. There's a consumer spotting kit that's available. And even commercial side, we have a lot of products that are approved. So, my theory is, why would you not use a WoolSafe product when you know it's been tested? And I know there's lots of guys out there that like to be their own formulators. Well, you're just taking chances, and I think that's kind of crazy. I mean, as much as available out there that has been tested, I think it's a wise choice for you to make. All right, so here's the difference between a wool-safe approved product and a non-wool-safe approved product. On the one side, you can see where it has a slight migration, dye migration. On the other side, severe dye migration. Now, does this mean that every rug is going to bleed if you use a wool-safe product? No. Or not going to bleed? No. But it gives you a little more assurance that if you're cleaning with a safer product. So just be careful. Like I said, use caution when you're using cleaning products. Probably should go ahead and start thinking about using wool-safe approved products. All right, second thing I need to emphasize, and I think I've said it a little bit more earlier, but you've got to get some education. Now, I've been in this industry for 30 plus years. I don't know that there's any class I haven't taken as far as cleaning, rug cleaning especially. So here's my recommended list. I'm going to suggest that you start out slow and work your way up. If you're just getting into the business, I have an online course called the Wool-Safe Approved Fiber Care Specialist course. It's available online, taken anytime, day or night. It's good for 14 IICRC CECs. It's a good basic beginner course about cleaning wool and natural fibers. It's available, like I said, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Anywhere in the world you can take it, so it's easy to get to. I've got an IICRC rug cleaning certification course coming up, excuse me, March 20th to the 22nd in Jacksonville. I typically teach the IICRC rug cleaning course 2 or 3 times a year. This is the first one I'll be teaching this year. So if you're interested in the information, you can go on my website, rugladyseminars.com. After that, I'd recommend that you probably take the Master Rug Cleaner class. That's taught by Ellen Amercan and Aaron Grossclose. They've got one. If you've already got the other certification, you might jump into that one. It's March 14th to the 16th. It's a 2-part class, 6 days. The first part is March 14th, and then the second part is October 17th through 19th. So that's another one that you might at some point want to take. A little more intensive course, a little bit more identification. Lisa Wagner has her Rug Secrets and Textile Pro program. You can find more information on her website, rugchick.com. The Rug Summit, which is sponsored by Centrum Force, they're the manufacturers of some of the rug cleaning equipment, is a great opportunity to rub elbows with some of the greatest in the industry. They typically have presentations by lots of different people in our industry, very interesting, different presentations, not your normal educational opportunity. A lot of rug repair. We did some rug stripping, did all sorts of different things that are kind of interesting to the rug cleaner. And then the last but not least is I think is the most intensive class, a certified rug specialist. It's offered through the Association of Rug Care Specialists. Ellen Amercan, Armand Dehaney, Robert Mann, and Randy Hyde, some of the best in the industry. They are the ones who teach this course, and it's one of those your mind will be blown when you get through, but you'll feel such a feeling of accomplishment once you graduate that course. So there's some that I recommend. I'm sure there's others out there that are available. I just recommend some of these. These are some that I took, and I definitely suggest that you get some education. Don't try to learn this business from the internet. That's not the way to do it. All right, another thing I recommend is to get your business organized. You can be the best technician in the world, but unless you know how to run your business, you're not going to succeed, or you may never grow. And I think the whole idea of this presentation is to grow your business. So some of my best buddies in our industry, Howard Partridge, John Browning, Mark Kennedy, Lisa Wagner is great with marketing, Chuck Beal and Bill Yaden, Steve Trevere, and they're all wonderful business coaches. And I think it's something that you definitely put on your list of to-dos for sure. All right, another thing, be affiliated with a professional organization. Believe it or not, credentials matter to consumers. Now, you may say, oh, it doesn't really matter if I'm certified. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. A consumer is looking for the company or the person that stands out from the rest. And one of the things you can do once you've taken the Wool-Safe Fiber Care Specialist course, you can become a wool safe service provider that will list your company on the website and give you some referrals from some of the major manufacturers in our industry. Certainly want to be a certified firm. Obviously, if you're on this call, you're a certified firm, and I appreciate you doing that. It does make a difference to people. There's no doubt about it. And then one of the associations I highly recommend if you're going to be a rug care, really into the rug cleaning industry is joining the Association of Rug Care Specialists. They're some of the best in the industry, and the membership ranges from one-man operations all the way up to multi-year, multi-generational businesses. They're a great group of people to be with. All right, so last but not least, some marketing ideas for the slow months. Now, depending on where you live, you may have a couple more months of slow depending on the weather. So now's the time to kind of buckle down and, get into your business, send out some postcards, create a newsletter or email blast about rugs. I used to write our monthly newsletter, and every month I would talk about rug cleaning, rug types, rug construction, add-on services. I mean, every newsletter had something about rugs in it. Offer a rug cleaning sale in the slow month. Usually in January and October, we would offer a rug cleaning sale. We would drop our price an extra 10%. And it was more cash and carry. They had to bring the rugs to us, but it brought rugs in when we were slow. And a lot of people don't mind that. They don't mind doing the legwork for you. So offer that. Maybe 30% off in the slow month. Join an interior design organization or networking group. Give presentations to ladies groups. Now, I'm going to tell you, most of you are guys, I know, but ladies love to hear about rugs. I have a collection, obviously, so I would carry my little rugs with me to these groups, and I do a little rug ID with them. It was great fun, and they loved it, and they used us for their cleaning business after I gave these presentations. Visit your lead sources. Now, we didn't talk about lead sources, but those are people who send you business, interior designers, carpet retailers, rug retailers, upholsterers. Those are the people who send people your way. Visit them on a monthly basis, even more sometimes, depending on how good they are. If they have given you business, physically take their lead check to them and hand it to them face to face. That makes it much more personal. Take food. Howard Partridge is one of the guys who thinks that if you take donuts to everybody, they're going to love you. Now, I'm not crazy about donuts, but donuts work for some people. You can take cookies. We would do Girl Scout cookies. I think that's this time of year. So anything that you can take to get face to face with your lead source, that's the way to do it. And this is the time of year to do it. You're slow. You might as well get out there and start talking to people. Again, take the Wool Safe online course. Oh, it's 14 CECs, excuse me, and become a Wool Safe service provider. That again gives you more credentials, gives you something to talk to your clients about. Sell add-ons, rug pads, fabric protection, re-latexing of rugs, rug repair. Those are things that can add to your business and give you something to do during the slow months. Again, this is the time of year that you might consider taking some additional courses relating to rugs, either online or in person. Then you market your credentials. Gives you something to tell your clients about. Gives you something to tell your lead sources about. If you've just finished a course and you passed and you learn more, tell somebody about it. That's what marketing is all about, is talking about your business. Who is better to sell your business than you? You're the one who owns it. You're the one who loves it. So sell it. And then one more thing, and this is probably because I'm a collector, but decorate your office with rugs and rug-related items. My friend Lynn Tall has a series of rug condition flyers or consumer flyers that she sells. She's the rug advocate, rugadvocate.com. Might want to consider getting some of her things. My rug ID flashcards are great to have in your shop. Start collecting little rugs. You can go to antique stores and different places. Even go to a thrift store and buy a rug. You never know what you might find. And if somebody's willing to sell it very inexpensively, you might be able to restore it and put it in your shop. So there's lots of different ways. But get out there and market your business. That's the most important thing to do. So I'm about done. I think I've probably worn you all out. If you have any questions, Jen's ready to take some questions and we'll start talking a little bit. Hopefully I'll see you all sometime in the near future. Like I said, I've got a class coming up in Jacksonville. I'd love to see you there. Or just email me at regulateseminars@gmail.com. Hey, Jen.
All right. Hi, I'm here. We're running just a little bit over, but we do have some questions. We're going to go ahead and take them. Let's see. The first one is, what is the minimum required investment for rug cleaning equipment?
Well, I think it depends on what you already have. I would recommend that you have some sort of a portable duster. And I'd say you can pick those up anywhere from a couple thousand, maybe $2,000 or $3,000. I mean, some people use an old sanitary vacuum cleaner. That's great to start with, but at some point you're going to have to jump into something a little bit better than that. A rug pit can be put together with PVC pipe and pond liner, so that's not very expensive. I mean, I think your minimum investment may be $5,000 to $10,000 at the very, very most. A lot less than expensive than buying a truck now.
Does WoolSafe currently allow some oxidizers? And then in parentheses it says limited.
Well, there's certain spotters that have oxidizing agents in it, yes. It depends on the category of the product. So we have some specialty spotters that are allowed to have oxidizers in it, yes.
Okay, we're on our last question, so if anybody else has any questions, feel free to enter them in that question box now. This question is, a client of ours has a small sheepskin faux rug with dog pee. How do you recommend we should clean it?
Well, depends on the condition of the sheepskin. If the urine has damaged the leather side to the point where it's stiff, it may not be restorable. So that's the problem. Sometimes the urine has done so much damage to the leather portion of it that you can't restore it. You can try surface cleaning it to remove the urine, but again, you're going to get that skin wet somehow. And it depends on the type of skin and the condition that the skin is in. You know, I hate to be so vague, but that's the problem.
How can I find locations for professional classes to take?
I'm sorry, for what?
For professional classes to take on rug cleaning.
Well, you're gonna have to search around. Like I said, I've got classes. We've got the rug cleaning class listed on the IICRC website, and then those ones that I told you about, the master rug cleaner, there's a separate website for that. So there's a whole. You just have to kind of search around a little bit. If somebody wants to email me, I'll send them a list.
Let's see. Where can you purchase weighted rollers to push out water after rinsing in a rug bath?
I think, let's see, who's got them now? Centrum Force has got one that's available. I would say a lot of the carpet, supply stores would have access to them. I know Master Blend has one that's available. Centrum Force has one that's available. The one that we used was an old drag tool that we had left over from many, many, many years ago in the water restoration business, believe it or not. And you can occasionally find some of that stuff on eBay, believe it or not.
All right. I think that's it for questions. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, especially Ruth. Ruth, that was very great and interesting. Stay tuned to for the next webinar. We're going to have a presentation. Let's see, who's our next presenter? It's Paul Pleshek. He is going, I always say his last name wrong, so I apologize for all his friends out there. But he is going to be giving a presentation in March. So stay tuned to your inboxes for that invite in the next couple of weeks. Anyways, have a great rest of your February, everybody, and we'll see you in a few weeks. Bye.
Bye-bye.